This episode has been brought to you by JustNForm.com. If you're tired of being censored, tired of having your data stolen and sold, go to JustNForm.com, a social media site where all voices are welcome.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I know. I don't have the button up on today. I got the hat on, like I've been chilling, and it's because I've been taking a couple days for myself. It's Thanksgiving, or it's Thanksgiving week, okay? Politics has been stressful. I'm stressing myself out. Y'all stressing me out. Everybody's stressing me out. And so I decided to take a couple days off. But in the middle of my days off, these stories have come up that I felt like I had to cover, but I'm not going to do it in the button up. We're going to keep it casual today. We're going to keep it real casual. So Hillary Clinton has decided to open up her mouth once again. And like I said, commentators like myself, I love when Hillary Clinton opens her mouth because it's like gold for us. The stories literally write themselves. The level of irony that is reached every single time Hillary Clinton utters any word just simply augments the past 20 or 30 years of sheer ignorance and, to some degree, hilarity. It is. It really does. Because she never fails us. She literally never fails us. And once again, she has delivered us a golden goose egg right on our front doorstep by opening up her mouth about the immigration in Europe. So she said that Europeans need to curb immigration if it is going to suppress right-wing populism. Oh, buddy. There are so many things wrong with that statement. Now, as you all know, I haven't gotten the chance to cover as much European politics on this channel as much as I would like to. And I really hope that as I am able to once again do this full time next year, that I'm talking about 100% of my effort. Right now I can only do so much because I do have a job because I have to work. But I want to start covering a little bit more European politics because of subjects like this, because their politics, they do have more parties. They have a little bit more of an interesting landscape. However, it does still come down to ultimately neocon versus neoliberal in a lot of circumstances, which is why we didn't see Jeremy Corbyn win. So, of course, when Hillary Clinton said this to a lot of people who may not be into politics that often, that may make some sort of sense, right? And at the most simplistic level, we saw somewhat of a rise in immigration in the United States, and right-wing populism came about because of it. Trump took advantage of that. But it wasn't just Trump. During the primary election of the Republicans, I think you all recall that Ted Cruz hopped on this rhetoric. Marco Rubio hopped on this rhetoric. The idea that Trump portrayed, even though I don't know if he meant it quite literally, because I think that it would give Trump way too much credit. I think he doesn't have that much of a command on the English language, and he doesn't realize when he's speaking in generalities. I really believe that. But when he said, "Oh, they're coming over the wall and they're sending over their worst," and that rhetoric was palpable and it did resonate with his base. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate because it was not true. And in fact, once again, as I've said many times on the show, actually violent crimes amongst U.S. population has gone down substantially since undocumented immigrants have increased their migration into the U.S. So I just want to say that. But with Hillary Clinton, like I said, at the simplest level, it seems to make sense what she's saying. But the things that she leaves out is always most interesting about Hillary Clinton, because that's not the problem. Rising right-wing populism, which spurred things like the Brexit movement, come from a number of issues. Immigration is one of them, but it's everything that, like, the roots of problems like immigration in Europe, just like the roots of problem, like there's roots of these problems in the United States that lead to immigration. Let's talk about the fact that Hillary Clinton and her little friends, her little neoconservative, neoliberal friends in Europe ravaged through the Middle East. Do you really believe These people are fleeing their nations, fleeing their homes, fleeing the language that they're fluent in, fleeing their countries where they're comfortable in the culture that is in that country. These are generational people and like you, I love my country. I would not want to leave it. But like people leave in Honduras, in Venezuela, in Guatemala, they leave because their country is being ravaged by the Western world. The same reason they leave in Sudan, the same reason they leave in Somalia, the same reason they leave in Afghanistan, Syria. It's not because they don't love their home country. It's not because they don't love their people. It's because our countries are ravaging them. Now, if you may recall, a lot of Europe's most rapid increase in immigration came during this administration. Now, you might be familiar with this administration because this particular administration, Hillary Clinton was a part of. And she wasn't just a small part of it. She was the part. So there's the president, right? But what a lot of people don't know is that Secretary of State actually, I would say, and I think a lot of others would say who are involved in politics would say, to a large degree, they are the second most powerful person in the world next to the president. Now, what do I mean by that? Some people say, well, vice president. No, the vice president doesn't really get to have the last say until the president, something unfortunate may happen or may not happen to the president. Now, they do have a lot of the say in the Senate, but Secretary of State oftentimes goes unchecked in the Middle East. Historically, by the way, it wasn't just under the Obama administration, but historically it's gone unchecked. Now, like I said, the irony of her saying that it is immigration that is causing the right-wing problems. How about, why does Europe got to curb immigration? Why, you know how we can curb immigration? We can stop destroying people's countries. That's how we can do it. We can curb immigration by not stealing the resources of people's countries, by not making up lies and then going to war with these nations. When we say we're going to war with the nations, it implies the government, but in reality, it means we're going to war with the people of those nations. Let's stop slapping sanctions on countries who refuse to give us their resources. All of these things can help curb immigration and right-wing populism. But also, there's the other side of that coin where it has nothing to do with immigration. Right-wing populism, there is a level of xenophobia within right-wing populism. There is a level of religious extremism on one way or the other, either extreme disdain towards Islam or this weird childlike affinity towards Christianity. The way you curb that is by passing Medicare for all. The way you curb that is by disallowing the government to spend obscene amounts of money on itself, obscene amounts of money on weaponry that we are going to use against poor people in other countries. And let's spend that on the people of our nations rather than spending it elsewhere. Because when people don't have jobs, when people can't feed their families, when people don't have health care, they have to find someone to blame. And usually it's the person that's next, that's right, the step below you, if you will, on the racial or the financial hierarchy. Just like poor white people at one point back in the day, they had no one, they couldn't blame the rich people. The rich people provide us jobs. So you know who will blame? Whoever the rich people tell us to blame. Hey, we could pay you more and give you better jobs if those dang on black people weren't here against their will, even though we brought those black people here, but that's neither here nor there. This is classic. This is nothing new. And the same problem that existed back then, while the robber barons, the corporations that are still existent today, the Rockefellers, the JP Morgan Chases of the world, the Vanderbilts of the world, like they use these same tactics. You get the people to find a racial scapegoat, and you can get away with whatever you want to. And Hillary Clinton is the embodiment of that. She is their messenger, and unfortunately is a message of destruction. I would love to know what you think about this. So share this video, like and comment. join us on Roku. We are back to posting we'll start posting again on Sunday, but yeah, we took the week off and we'll be back to posting next week. And I hope that, hey, more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace. Thanks for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. You can donate to our Patreon and keep helping the network grow by clicking on the link in the description below. And also, make sure you join us at JustNForm.com. And finally, make sure you subscribe to us on Roku and be part of the very first independent news network on Roku TV. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.